All right, this is a great starter home in Seattle, Washington, listed at $500,000. And I'm going to be talking about what it would look like to buy this house. Particularly, I'm going to give you a look at what your monthly payment might look at on this place, particularly if you're in that first-time home buyer group who's looking kind of for this kind of situation in Seattle. So real quick, we can click through some of the pictures of the house so you know what you're looking at. Definitely a starter home, but still impressed at the price. Probably there's some very needed updates in this place, but great opportunity in Seattle for only $500,000. Hopefully, sometimes if you find a situation that's really bad, and there's rot in the flooring or something like that, then you're gonna have trouble financing it. So hopefully, or it's not necessarily impossible, but it's just gets a little trickier sometimes. So hopefully it's in pretty good shape as far as all that goes, but it looks okay. So let's look at the pricing. So here I have two quotes generated so you can get an idea of what your monthly payment might be, what your cash might look like. And there's some flexibility here. Obviously you can come in with less cash, you can come in with more cash and get a lower down payment. There's different ways you can go about this. So if this doesn't exactly nail your numbers, don't get discouraged. There might be opportunities to finagle it so that it works out well for you. But just to get you a ballpark of what things might look like, here's two different quotes. This one right here is 3% down, and this one right here is 5% down. And you can see that shows up right here in the loan to value of 97% on the left and 95% on the right. So the reason I did that is not just if you have less cash coming in, because if you notice on the left, even though it's 3% down, the total monthly payment is actually less. It's $37.63 with the 3% down, whereas it's $38.98 with the 5% down. So it's another $130 a month or so. With 5% down. So the question becomes, put more down, why is the monthly payment higher? And that comes down to why I created these two quotes. Because look down at the bottom, you'll also notice the cash to close is about the same, $35,000 in both situations. $35,350 with 3% down, $35,784 with 5% down. So where did all that money go? How do we end up with the same cash and a lower monthly payment with 3% down? The reason for that is this section right here, which is points in credit. You can see here there's almost $9,000 in points in the 3% down scenario, whereas you get a tiny credit in the 5% down scenario. So basically the par rate, there's basically no points, no credit in the 5% down situation. And so the idea is, if you come in and you've got, let's say, you come to a lender and you say, I've got $35,000 in cash. I've got $40,000 in cash to work with, but I can't take on a monthly payment higher than this. Or the way qualifying works for a loan, basically lenders use what's called your debt to income ratio, which is your total monthly debt divided by your gross monthly income, and that number needs to be less than 50%. So here, in order to qualify for this loan on the left, that's going to be about, what is that, $7,526, I think. Whereas on the right, it's going to be $7,700. 96. Let's see. Yeah, 7,796. Okay, so and that's monthly income. And so say you could only qualify for this monthly payment, but you really want the house and you only have this much in cash, we might say, okay, instead of putting 5% down, let's drop the monthly payment down a little bit by putting some of that cash towards points. So there's just a sense of what your monthly payment might look like, how much cash you might need coming in, and a little bit of a sense of strategy of how you can use your cash differently when you're coming in and you have a little bit less flexibility, lower income maybe, and not tons of cash. Now, one note I should make, because sometimes you might get misunderstandings here or pushback, this is your qualifying income. And if this is all your income you can count on, then pushing it to 50%, pushing your housing payment to 50% of your gross monthly income, we're not financial advisors. There's different routes, different paths. Generally, that you're going to get lots of people saying that's not a good idea. And that is a pretty hefty portion of your gross monthly income if you're using 50% towards your housing payment, depending on what's left over. If you only have whatever this other half left over, 38.98 in this area, that might be a tough situation. So this isn't advice on what your monthly payment should be in terms of your gross monthly income, what percentage, but it is in terms of what qualifying income you would need in order to be able to get this loan. And so a scenario where this might be relevant is if you have 2 jobs and the second job doesn't qualify because it doesn't meet the lender standards as far as what they will count as income, but it is money that you feel you can personally count on and include in your total income calculation. So that's good to keep in mind there, but hopefully that's a helpful start. If you're interested in getting a real quote on a house for you in this area, and some thoughts on what you might be able to qualify for, feel free to reach out. Our team is licensed in Washington and Idaho. My name is Landon Buteau, and I work with Cleveland Street Mortgage based in Bothell, Washington. If you want to get a sense of what it's like to work with our team, there's a link to a video in the description in this video here. There's a link to a video that will give you a sense of what the process is like with our team, what it's like to work with us as mortgage providers, mortgage advisors. So please do check that out and reach out if you are interested.